All right, welcome back to Around the Diamond. While I was at spring training with the Nats, I spent some time with starting pitcher Joe Ross. Let's meet him now.
It's going to be fun. We'll see what happens throughout spring training. Obviously, we got a lot of guys here, a lot of starters, a lot of big names, that's for sure. Hopefully I can break into that starting rotation and, start the season up in D.C.
What do you think you bring? What is your value to that starting rotation?
I just like to think of myself as an aggressive pitcher, strike thrower, not trying to pick, too much around the zone, and just give our team a chance to win games and hopefully minimize runs late into the game.
We know you have a brother, Tyson, and talk about that, your relationship with him, and just you guys' background in baseball.
We're really close. I talk to him, a pretty good amount, especially during the season. He's kind of been my mentor, who I kind of watched, very closely growing up all the time, and he's definitely set a very good example for me, just in terms of work ethic and things like that, on and off the field, and I'm happy he's been doing really well. Hopefully he has another successful, healthy year, and I think we play them twice this year, so I wouldn't mind if we got to face each other one time.
That would be awesome.
That would be fun, yeah.
Yeah. Fans would love that too.
Yeah.
Tell me how you got in baseball instead of some of the other sports. I mean, you're a pretty big guy. I mean, you could have played other sports probably, but why baseball?
Both my parents are really into baseball. My dad and my mom and dad actually were coaches of mine all the way up basically until high school. And then, between my sister actually also played. I have a sister, she's the middle child. But no, she played baseball, yeah, until she was 12. And my dad always said she was the best athlete in the family.
Talk about this starting rotation here in Washington. You guys have one of the best in the Major League Baseball. Talk about some of the other guys.
Obviously, the big three, between Scherzer and Gio and Strauss, those are three pretty dominant guys. Max with his 2 no-hitters last year, and Strauss, I don't think I've seen really anyone more dominant the last month or so of the season watching him pitch. So those are definitely 3 horses that we'll have. Last year when I came up, I was all ears when it came to listening to them talk about pitching. I usually tried to stick around Max a lot, on the bench, and just kind of listen to him pick apart our and their pitchers. And then try and take some of the things he was talking about and apply it to my game, or at least things I could apply to my game at that point. My goal for this year is just to stay healthy 100% through the year. If I can do that, I feel pretty confident with my stuff. Obviously, there's things I can work on. I've been working on my changeup, I'd say, for the most part. But yeah, just my big key for this year is staying healthy, and if I do that, I'll be happy with hopefully how the year goes.
What's it like when you're out there on the mound in front of like 30, 40, 50,000 people? Talk to the fans about that, what that's like, especially in a big moment.
It's pretty exhilarating. There's nothing quite like it. At least I haven't found anything quite like it. It's fun at home, when you get an out or you get a strikeout or you have a 1-2-3 inning and the crowd cheers. And it's also fun on the road when, everyone's booing you and cheering against you, and, you can kind of quiet the crowd. But it kind of gives you that extra confidence. You're out there on the mound and it's your game while you're out there, and everyone's relying on you to do your job and get the team a win.
Dusty Baker, talk about him.
He's awesome. I've met him before he came to the Nationals. From what I know so far, he's real laid back. He likes to have fun, but he's also hard-nosed when it comes to going out there and playing hard. I can tell already he's going to be a great, players coach, and I think that's something that we really need. Someone that can relate to us, on a daily basis, and tell us how it is, and I think we'll get along well. The whole team will get along well with him, and it should be a good year.
All right, Joe Ross, pretty big guy too. He could play basketball or football. He could be a tight end.
Yeah.
This guy is pretty big. Even Gio told me. He said, "Man, he's a giant to me." But pretty good rotation. And Joe, one of the young guys. Talk about that, Jamal.
It's one of the things that with the Strasburg signing, they've set their rotation up for the next couple of years to be one of the best among the majors, because you have Strasburg and Scherzer signed up to long-term deals. You have Joe Ross, who's still young in his rookie deal. You have some prospects in the minors coming up from their deal. So right now the Nationals are third in baseball in ERA as far as their starting rotation, and it could be potentially be set up that way for years to come.
All right, and of course Scherzer. Wow, what a great night he had the other night. 20 strikeouts.
20 strikeouts, wow. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, and the fact that Dusty let him stay in. I mean, that's what's so, I mean, I know we're going to talk about Dusty Baker, but I'm just saying that's the brilliance of having a great manager, is knowing that, you know, he feels intuitively, you know, for his players, and he makes decisions based upon that, and not so much sometimes a calculation or, you know, looking at his pad. He goes by his gut and his heart, and you need that in sports, you know?
You were in the press box that night, right? What were people talking about?
Well, it was surreal for me personally.
Wow.
Being there and watching, and at first he's piling up the strikeouts during the early innings, and you kind of allow yourself to think about it, but you're like, okay, that's a number that only 4 times in baseball history people have ever reached to.
Right.
So then, of course, when he strikes out the side in the 8th inning and gets to 18, you know, you're kind of like, oh my God, he's about to do it. And you know you're seeing something special, and that's just the kind of talent that Max is. That at any night, at any moment, you saw the no-hitters last year. You see the 20 strikeouts this time. You can always just see something special. And when you talk,
year,
and
huh?
he's kind of spoiling us right now.
Yeah.
That's okay. What else you got now?
Just incredible.
Well,
I mean,
you
it's
know
just
what was
incredible.
really incredible to me also is that 9 of those strikeouts were just 3 pitches.
Yes.
You know, I mean, that's pretty awesome, huh?
Because he only threw, I believe, it was 116
116,
pitches.
I think, yeah.
We've seen, you know, guys need 140, 130, 100 and some odd pitches to go. He was throwing all strikes, 96 strikes at those 116, and he was getting up there, and like you said, it was, you know, hello, see you later, goodbye,
Right,
1, 2, 3,
exactly.
kind of, and getting people out of here. So,
Yeah.
and you mentioned Dusty. It was just the confidence also in him to, even though it was a close game, and only up by 2 runs, and then Scherzer gives us a home run to start that 9th inning. But he had the confidence to, you know, stay with his player and allow him to achieve this record. I think the players really enjoy that.
Yeah, Dusty did not get rattled by that home run. You know what I'm saying? I
Well,
mean,
that's
he just
what we're
didn't.
going to talk about now.
Yeah.
It's Dusty Baker. You guys got to give him
Perfect
a grade. Perfect. How about a
Yes.
grade on Dusty so far in handling this team?
Let me just say, I know I've spent some like personal time around Dusty, so I can't give him
right.
any
You
less.
do know
I could not give Dusty any
You
less
know.
than an A, simply because I know him personally, and I have always had a wonderful time being in his company. You know, and whether it's at an all-star game, I mean, World Series, I've been around him, so it's just been, it's always exciting. He always comes in with a lot of energy, you know, smiling. How you doing? He shakes everybody's hand.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to talk to him. I mean, he's just so wonderful to be around. Nonetheless, this could not have been a better marriage between the Nationals and Dusty Baker. Dusty Baker is an old school, you know, who brings, you know, old school values. And the Nationals needed that. We already had somebody who was trying to, you know, I don't know what he was trying to do last year, but
I'm not sure
anyway,
he did.
that's another story.
It's a lot interesting that you bring that up. Several of the players told me that at spring training. They didn't mind that he's old school, and they love him. He's a great guy. What is your grade?
I'll agree with you, one, that being around Dusty Baker for the short amount of time that I have has been a blast. You're not going to find anybody who spends any time around him and doesn't really like the guy. He's just a fun guy, a smart guy, has a million stories, been in baseball forever.
Yeah.
And right now this team is playing really well. The players love him. They're willing to do everything for him. I'm going to give him a B. Just because I'm a tough grader.
Man, I wouldn't have wanted him for a professor. You know.
Well, what
There's
do
been
we
some-
need to do to get an A now?
It's still early, and there's still some things that
need-
Dusty
yeah.
is still trying to figure out, because he's still trying to learn this team and how to best utilize, whether it be the bullpen, best figure out his lineup. And he probably would admit that he isn't all the way there yet, but they're on a good track right now toward the end of the season. So I can't give him an incomplete. You said that have been copping out. So I'll just give him a B for now and say you're on the way, Dusty.
All right, well, we're on the way to the third segment, but first we're going to take a quick break, and we're heading for third on Around the Diamond.